just you and me. Feel my heart, it's beat tight. Oh, my body's breathing, it's just you and me. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. I'm so caught in this.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and wherever you're watching in the world, welcome along to TT Masters League Division 1, race number 7, which takes us to the Hungaroring in Budapest for the Hungarian Grand Prix. My name is Kieran McGinley, and joining me in the commentary box this time around is the lovely, the fantastic, the amazing Mr. James Head. James, I missed last week. It's been too long. How have you been?
I've been doing really well, Kieran. How's yourself?
I'm doing fantastic, and apparently, according to Luke, last time out, I missed a heck of a race. Why don't you take me through what on earth happened last week?
Yeah, it was a fantastic race, of course, in Austria. It was Medium Pilot who took the win last week, and I'll get the rest of the podium standings up in just a second. I've just realised I haven't saved them, which is fantastic, but it was Medium Pilot who did take the win. Kalsper was second, and TTG Bianchi finished third on his first podium finish for the whole season. So a fantastic race. Really marred, to be honest, by Wesker picking up a 5th-place grid penalty. Really recovered well within that race. And I'm talking about the division, actually. I've just realised.
Yeah. Oh, well.
It's been a long week.
It's been a long week, but let's get tuned into Division 1, because here's how it looks after the Austrian Grand Prix in the drivers' standing. So it is Medium Pilot at the top of the table on 118 there, with Perpetuum in second on 107. Watch out for Kalsper as well. He's in third place on 104. Nice and tight around the midfield there between Legend, Killer Blue, Carlsbury and Nathan. And if we head over to the next page, you can see how immensely close it is between all of the drivers down towards the bottom of the field. Jack there is a reserve driver, hasn't scored any points as of yet in this season. Moving on to the constructors then, it is Mercedes who are at the top. Where have I seen that before? Ferrari in second, with Williams rounding out the top 3. And as I said before, in the midfield is very condensely packed, with all the teams trying to fight out for those lovely points. And of course, if you don't know already, it is an alternate point scoring system. 30 points go to the race winner, with 2 points up for grabs for the man who gets pole position, or the driver I should say, who gets pole position. And then going all the way through the standings, you can see down towards 19th place is 1 single point, with 20th scoring 0 points. There's also a bonus fastest lap of the race bonus point that can be awarded to any driver as long as they see the checkered flag. So it's looking good, because we have up for us the Hungarian Grand Prix, and of course located in the heart of Budapest. 35 laps we'll have here tonight, with a lap distance of 4.381 kilometres. That's a race distance of around 153 kilometres, and as some people say, it is Monaco without the barriers. And well, it is a narrow track, there are limited overtaking opportunities, and it is a track that does prioritise high aero setups. You've also got to have that little bit of power though as well, because there's a couple of DRS straights that you could find yourself a little bit vulnerable in if you don't find that right setup. By the way, if you fancy your chances in a commentary box, well, I've got good news for you. Competitive Racing Club are looking for people like you. Saturdays and Sundays, 8 PM UK time, that's British summertime for now at least. Commentator vacancies are on the board. So if you want to get in touch, you'll find the links down below. Don't forget as well the Twitter pages that you can follow as well. But they'll all be down in the links below if you want to find the interest there. You can join myself and James as among the commentary team for Saturdays and Sundays. And it's kind of how you started out, James. You just responded to an advert and here you are.
Here I am indeed, and I think it's been fantastic. The learning curve that I've been on over the last year or so within TTG has been absolutely amazing, and I would happily say, because they'll be following in the footsteps of me as well, if you want to commentate over some great action in the CRC, now is the time to do it. If you are brand new to commentary or want some tips, hit me up, because I will give you every bit of my knowledge that I possibly can, and I'm sure anybody in the commentary team as well would happily do the same. It's a great opportunity, don't miss out.
Absolutely. We've got the weekly schedule as well, which of course tonight you're here right now for the Hungarian Grand Prix in Division number 1. Tomorrow we go to Hungary again. It's very rare that you have the Formula 2 series go to the exact same race nowadays, but there you are. We're at Hungary all week. Formula 2 will be happening tomorrow night, and then Thursday and Friday will be Division 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 respectively, all starting at 8 PM British summertime. So make sure you do tune in there. and I know they're great races as we start counting down into the lobby, James.
Yeah, we do, and it's 20 seconds now. Will really determine where these drivers are going to be placing really in qualifying. Obviously, we're getting started in towards qualifying, but the weekly schedule, Division 2, Division 3, 4 and 5, all to be played for in all divisions. Don't miss out on this race and don't miss out on the rest of the week.
Absolutely not, as we now count down into the lobby to get ourselves started in the Hungaroring. And obviously it's a narrow circuit that provides limited overtaking opportunities, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. We'll have to wait and see how the drivers tackle the circuit. Qualifying is going to be critical. Without further ado then, let's get underway for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Well, here we are then at the Hungaroring for the Hungarian Grand Prix here in TT Masters League Division number 1, and it is round number 7 here in the streets of Budapest. It's a very narrow circuit, lots of twists and turns await us as we head towards the Hungarian Grand Prix. On the calendar since 1986, the first race behind that Iron Curtain, which was a very, very spectacular thing at the time and was a very thoughtful thing to have on the calendar. 4.381 kilometres takes us around 14 turns of the Hungaroring, and the DRS zones you can see are pretty much all bunched up in one place down the start-finish straight and on the approach towards turn 2. Bit of overtaking can be done at turns 2 and turn 1 obviously, and then you get towards that middle part of the track where aero efficiency is very, very important. You've got to have the right setup here not to find yourself a little bit vulnerable down the start-finish straight. Well, here we are then in qualifying, and James, it's going to be a very critical qualifying when we come into it. Overtaking opportunities are going to be limited, so how do the drivers approach this one?
I think, honestly, these drivers have got to approach it pretty much every single qualifying how they've done so far this season. They've got to really attack their laps out on track. Medium Pilot is the first out on track, so it'll be very interesting to see, as he will have track priority. It will be, as I say, really interesting to see in behind if people get held up on their laps. You don't want to be held up on your laps around here. It is such a short track, probably in and around the 113s, I'm thinking, tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, in Austria last time out, we saw a 1 minute point, 1:02.8, I believe the pole lap time was for Medium Pilot. And there he is. Obviously, you get a point for fastest lap in qualifying. You get the point there for pole position. So it makes that qualifying battle just that little bit more spicy. In fact, I just say it's actually 2 points you get for pole position, not just 1 point. So ever more enticing as you make your way through. And it does really heat up these qualifying battles.
It could be the difference, to be honest, within a longer term scenario. It could be the difference between you winning the championship and you finishing second in the championship. That's what we talk about. Yellow flags in Sector 3, don't worry about them whatsoever. Medium Pilot, though, about to start a lap.
Absolutely, as we now make our way around that final corner and onwards towards the start-finish line, on board with the Williams here. Race winner last time out, pole sitter as well last time out. Can he look to continue that good form? Heading down towards turn 1, using that curb on the outside to try and open up turn 1 as much as possible. Watch out for the traction on the exit of turn 1. You can really spin up the rear tyres if you're not careful. Down in towards turn 2 here. The track is always falling away from you through there, so grip can be very limited if you're not careful. Flying through turn 3, a little bit of respite now as you make your way up towards turn 4. Chuck the car in and hope it sticks down all those gears there. Make the engine sing as you head through there, and onwards now towards the little chicane at the middle of the lap here. Watch out for those big curbs in the middle of the corner. They can really unsettle the car if you're not careful. Now flying our way through the middle of the track. Our middle sector is really dependent on the aero efficiency of the car. Staying in 6th gear, then switching up to 7th as we make our way in towards sector 3, down towards turn 12. Very tricky corner, this one. It's very misleading. You want to try and brake as late as possible. Now in towards 13, the track dips away at you just in the braking points. You've got to be careful about the lockups. And then we make our way now around turn 14, or we would have done, made it around turn 14, which of course is a very, very tricky corner because you've got to be so patient on the throttle as you make your way through. But Medium Pilot comes back into the pits then, doesn't finish his lap. Legend 114, Dobby then on top with a 113.5 from the Haas driver. How about Recon as he heads towards line? 13.1 from the Ferrari driver. puts him now at the top of the table. Yarum takes third place at the moment, 13.8, with these lap times coming in thick and fast. Perpetum is out there right now. He sets a good lap time there, 1:13.166, only half a tenth off there as Dartbolt has retired from the session. We've got Killer Blue out there who's made his transfer permanent now to Alpha Tauri and is looking to try and make it good on his trip to the Hungaro ring. Obviously he's got big shoes to fill after the real Alpha Tauri team in Italy not so long ago. Can he try and convert that into a win and turn real life form into sim form?
Yeah, it'll be fascinating to see. Obviously Recon take pole position currently, nearly 5 minutes gone in the session. Pepet in second, Dobby though in third. He's had a very good lap in that task on 1:13.5. Kagini was only 300 off him as well. Yarum in fifth. Casper, interestingly, out on a set of medium compound tyres. Not often you get to say this in qualifying, but he is quicker than Legend out on track and quicker than Carlsbury as well. So Casper, very interesting going through the session.
Yeah, that was Carlsbury there, really backing off and coming to a stop almost as he came towards the start-finish line. Clearly doesn't want to set his fastest lap on those soft tyres, that's for sure, as we now makes his way down the hill then. So we've got Medium Pilot who is out once again for a flying lap as he now descends through turn 3 and then onwards towards turn number 4. It's going to be interesting to see if he can keep up this form, James.
Yeah, it will be, and he's actually on an outlap actually, so he's just came out the pit lane. So Medium Pilot will be hoping to try and get a very good lap in here. And also with the rest as well, Legend in 7th, 14.8, inevitably going to try and get an improvement out of these times, I think.
Yeah, we'll have to see how he gets on as he jumps over the curbs there. We've got Westy out there just going through the chicane now. Quick, shortly followed by Josh as they make their way through that tricky chicane of 6 and 7. And it is a really tricky chicane, especially on lap number 1. It's a very narrow part of the circuit. I mean, the whole circuit is narrow, but that chicane especially is very narrow.
Yeah, it is very narrow out on track. It could catch quite a few people out, to be honest, and especially so, I think, coming through turn 5 as well. If you get caught in that inside curve, you're really going to hammer your lap. You'll probably invalidate. You'll probably end up spinning the car and probably having to come back into the pit lane as well. I think Legend has just started off on another lap as well. It'll be very interesting to see how he gets on in that Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, we've got Medium Pilot as well, making his way down towards turn 1 in that car number 2. Car number 2 obviously hasn't been used since Stoffel Van Dorn's departure in 2017. So we'll have to see how he gets on as he now flies his way through that long left-hander of turn number 2, through turn 3 and onwards now up the hill towards turn 4. This time around, will he set the lap time? He's gone purple through sector 1 at the moment then, as he now makes his way through that long right-hander of turn 5. You go up the hill then through turn 5 as well, in towards that chicane of turn 6 and 7. Nicely on the curbs there through 7. Now through turns 8, through turn 9. He's got Legend up ahead of him who gets swiftly out of the way as we now head our way through 8, 9 and 10. Through then turn 11, the right-hander, and then onwards towards turn 12. Purple sector 2 as well from Medium Pilot, as now Dobby gets way onto the grass, does some lawn mowing there, as he now makes his way through the last couple of corners. Coming up now towards turn 14, the long right-hander just before that start-finish line. Now he can power his way towards the line. What sort of time is this going to be from the Williamsons? 1:12.9 from Medium Pilot. Well put together lap, and Purple in all 3 sectors. Nicely done.
Yeah, 1.5 tenths ahead of Recon. The Recon set that lap on about 2 or 3 minutes before. It's been really interesting to see if Medium Pilot can respond to that. I think Recon will inevitably respond as well as Perpetum. They're only on 13.1s, but trust me when I say this track will begin to revolve around now for Recon and Perpetum. Don't be surprised if they go quicker than Medium Pilot.
On board with Perpetum now as he gets a little bit of oversteer out of turn 2 and then onwards through turn 3. Up the hill we go then again towards turn 4 as he chucks the car in. You'll notice how drivers really try and get that curb on the right hand side before they enter in towards turn 4, and a little bit of an invalidation there from Perpetum as he runs too wide, and he knows now he just wants to get back to the pits.
Yeah, Recon as well, and behind him is invalidated out on track. So Perpetum and Recon really just as soon as I said, they're gonna try and fight Medium Pilot for pole position. Look what's happened. 2 invalidations. Commentators curse at its finest.
Yeah, Bianchi's just got an invalidation there through turn 7, and the stewards are being very, very strict about that curb through turn 7. you can try and take it your certain way, but if you leave the track with all 4 tyres at any point through there, that's your lap done. Riding on board with Navy then as he negotiates his way now through turn 11 and onwards now towards that right-hander of turn 12. A little bit of a lock-up there on the front right-hand side tyre. Now making our way through turn 13. Again, big lock-up on the front left. Now making his way through turn 14. Long right-hander here. A little bit of a twitch there from the car as he tries to deploy the power too early. Now heading towards the start-finish line. And it's a 1:15.1 on the medium tyres there for the Dutchman in Navy.
Yeah, shaky lap, to be honest, from Navy there. He almost corrected himself going through turn 14. And he would have ended up in the pit wall if he didn't correct it. So luckily he did. He's now in 10th ahead of Carlsbury. Killer Blue Away went 4th with a 13.4. Very nice final sector from him. Loads to come, I think, in the first 2 sectors.
Yes, I believe so. We've got Yaram here, who I'm not sure is on a lap, but he's had a spin, that's for sure. He just about keeps it out of the wall there and off the track. A little bit of on the loud pedal a little bit too early, I think, and now he has to do the daunting thing of wait until everyone is through, but the Haas is now rejoined onto the track. No damage to the car, but just a slight bit of damage to his pride there.
Yeah, unfortunate, I think, for Yaram. It looked like he would have been setting a good lap. Speaking of good laps, Kalsper has just gone quick at a 1:12.937, 300ths ahead of medium pilots, and now the ball is well and truly in medium pilots' court.
Absolutely. The Ferraris there, 1 and 3. They really have to take the fight to Mercedes this season, and they're doing a good job about it so far. Only 4 drivers haven't set a lap time who are still in the session. That is Siege, Bianchi, Westy and Josh, as we eagerly await their lap times as they make their way out. Siege, I don't think has left the pit lane just yet. We've got Westy, who is on a flying lap right now. He's taking all that curb on the entrance in towards turn 8, then through turn 9. Trying to hold on through here. Now through the left-hander of 10. The right-hander of 11 here. Opting to stay in 6th through there, but an invalidation. Runs too wide on the curb there. Going through turn 11. And that is Westy's lap invalidated. Let's have a look at Josh, who is on a flying lap. And it is a legitimate one too. Now making his way through turn 12. Down in towards 13 here. He's got Cugino and Medium Pilot right ahead of him here, as he now makes his way through turn 14. Medium Pilot here trying to go for a lap on his own here. Might have put Josh off just a slight bit, but he'll have a little bit of a toe down towards the start finish straight. 13.2 there from the Mercedes of Josh.
Yeah, not bad lap from Josh. Obviously, he can find a bit more time, I think, in that, and he's 10th of his teammates, so not too bad at all. West got that invalidation. Cugino, I think, actually got blocked, possibly, on that lap. Medium Pilot on an out lap. Cugino was 700 up through the first sector, so just begs the question, did he get blocked on that qualifying lap? Answers on the postcard, please. I'm sure the stewards might want to have a look at that, Everett reported.
Well, Recon, we're watching him on a flying lap as he keeps it planted there all the way through turns 2 and 3. Through turn 4 he goes, and what is great to see about these cars is that first sector in Hungary where there is actually enough speed to create the downforce needed to take those corners at full aggression. When you get towards turn 8 though, turn 8 starts out fine, then through turn 9, that's where you can suffer a lot of understeer because there's not enough air going over the aerodynamics to generate that downforce and that grip. A little bit of a moment there from Recon, just a little too aggressive with the curves, but well, he proves me wrong. Goes purple through sector 2, now going through turn 12 and onwards now towards turn 13. Long left-hander here, but then you've got an even longer right-hander directly after it. Going to keep your patience here, and the throttle pedal will reward you greatly. Now towards the line is Recon, who goes quicker, 1:12.7, fastest lap of the session so far.
He just rode on the curb coming through turn 12 and probably could have found at least another half a tenth, I think, on that lap. So very good lap there from Recon. Ferrari 1-2, begs to differ. These guys will be getting signed up for 2021 in real life, I think.
Well, maybe. Medium Pilot now starts a flying lap as he makes his way now down towards turn 1. Interesting, taking a little bit of grass there, trying to open up the corner as much as he possibly can now, riding on board with the Williams as he looks to tackle turn 2. And of course, turn 2 is an awkward one because it's a corner that always drops away from you. It's always declining in altitude there, and it can really promote lockups and understeer.
Yeah, it can. I mean, Medium Pilot coming through the middle sector here. He's 200 down on his time, but he can find the time, I think, coming through the middle and indeed the final sector as well. So it's going to be really intriguing to see how he approaches this lap. and this is coming towards a critical point, really, through turn 6, through turn 7, then in towards 8 and 9, then in towards turns 11 and 12, which will be coming up in literally these two corners here, medium pilot, 200 top.
Absolutely, down now into turn 12 and onwards towards turn 13. Again, the long left-hander here. You can see already drivers are locking up all the way through there, and medium pilot decides to come in. Oh, that's a shame. Well, he's saving that best lap till last, I reckon.
Yeah, it's not a bad scenario to be in, to be honest. Medium pilot right at the pit lane, 4 minutes to go in the session. He can get a good 2 laps in, I think, and get, if one of them is invalid, he can have another lap to really go at it. Bianchi ran in the final corner. Let's see what he's going to do. The AlphaTauri coming across the line now. 15.6 goes 10th, passes to the medium runners, because Navy, I think, also went out to assess the mediums.
Yeah, Bianchi on a set of mediums there, 10th place from him, and as you rightly said, James, Navy is the only other driver that set their best lap time on those medium tyres. We're still awaiting a lap time from Siege and Westy to be posted on the board, but both racing points, maybe they know something we don't, James. Who knows?
Who knows? I think Siege and Westy obviously being brand new to TTML, replacing Jack in the car. So it's going to be quite interesting to see as a pairing how they're going to go on. Racing Point have only scored a couple of points this season with only one driver. So Siege and Westy both need to put it on the line, I think, in terms of their pace out on track.
Well, here is Westy, who's just joined onto the circuit for an outlap here, as he now makes his way and negotiates through turn 3. Just under 3 minutes to go in the session, and as you can see here, Westy is now out on track, yet to set a lap time, invalidates his outlap, but he's done it early on in this lap that it doesn't affect the next lap, so that's going to be the important one now as he negotiates the chicane there of 6 and 7 as he makes his way through 8, through 9, through 10, and then through 11, and eventually he'll find himself on the right approach towards turn 12. And we'll have a see here because I think Legend is also ahead of him. Yes, Legend's ahead of him on the medium tyres here, but now backs out majorly to try and let a car through. No, he's just trying to get some space out there, I reckon, as he now rounds that penultimate corner onwards towards turn 14. That long right-hander, well, you've got to be so patient on the throttle. And there is Legend then with 1 minute 58 on the clock on a set of medium tyres, goes out to start a new flying lap.
Yeah, going to be fascinating to see how he gets on. Killer Blue was just invalidated on this lap. He was going quicker through the first sector, a little bit down in the middle sector. Let's see what the time would have been. Yeah, 113.2. He would have found a 10th at least on that time. Perpetum is also up by 0.2 of a second. Navy's retired from the session, but Perpetum could really go second here.
Well, let's have a look. Through turn 13 and then towards turn 14. Keep an eye on the left-hand side of your screens for those standings. Perpetum 4th at the moment on a 13.1. Here comes Perpetum then towards the line, and it's second. 112.8 there. An improvement for sure, but it's not enough to grab him pole position.
Isn't enough as well to beat Calsper and Medium Pilot. Medium Pilot on a lap, coming up towards the first sector split, 900 up already. So Medium Pilot theoretically is ahead. I think Petum, if I'm not mistaken, out on track. My maths might be slightly out there though.
Well, here he comes in through that chicane. Is Medium Pilot, wants to keep up this great form that he's in. Through we go now in towards this S section as we approach turn 9, flying through, and then through turns 10 and 11. Flying through 11 there again. You've got Killer Blue moving out of the way. 500s up through sector 2, through turn 12 and onwards towards turn 13. Little bit of a moment out on the exit of turn 12, spinning up those rear tyres just very slightly, and Medium Pilot now rounds the final corner. Be careful not to go too deep through here, you'll lose too much time. Now powers it towards that start-finish line. Can he improve? Yes, he can. Up to third. 112.8 there from Medium Pilot. And there's a Ferrari off in the background. And it was Recon.
He was a 10th up coming through the final corner, and he just spun it and lost it on the power. It's as simple as that.
Well, that's going to be a bit of a shock to the system there for the Ferrari driver, because he was going to improve there, possibly to a 112.6, but that is now no longer possible. He's got to hope now that his teammate can't do anything about that. His teammate, though, is half a tenth down through sector 1. Josh takes the checkered flag then, finishes in P5, 113.2 from the Mercedes driver. Yaram there invalidates his lap time. He'll be making no improvement. Legend is off there. through the that's on the approach to the final corner. Siege is out there for his one and only lap. He's going to be setting them on the medium tyres. Meanwhile, Carlsbury then making his way now onwards towards turn 13 and onwards towards that final corner. Will he stay out? Yes, he will. Through we go then through that long right-hander with that rail all the way on the right-hand side. Here comes Carlsbury then towards the line. 6th place for the McLaren driver with a 1:13.2. And now all eyes will be on Carlsberg, but he's run wide there. You can see he's actually got front wing damage, so he won't be making an improvement whatsoever. And if I'm right in saying, Medium Pilot has parked it up, but that means then Recon will be your pole sitter for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and that's earned him 2 points.
It has earned him 2 points, and it's earned Ferrari 2 points as well already in the constructor standings. And Medium Pilot's actually been disqualified from the session for being parked in a dangerous location. So he's starting right from the back of the field now.
Yeah, that's not going to be good for him or Williams there, as he now parks up in a supposedly safe place. But yeah, that's not what he wanted. He was on the second row of the grid. Now he finds himself all the way down the order to the back of the grid. But with qualifying over, Recon is the pole sitter, and that's a lovely 2 points added to his name. Second place is Perpetum with Kalsper in third, Josh in fourth with Carlsbury in fifth, Killer Blue in sixth with Dobby in seventh, Cugino eighth, Yoram ninth, and Bianchi in 10th place. He'll be starting on the medium tyres. Legend in 11th, Siege 12th, Navy in 13th, Darkbolt and Westy not setting a time, and Medium Pilot, as we saw at the end there, getting disqualified for parking in a dangerous location. Well, that's qualifying settled then, James, and around a narrow track like Hungary, around a very overtaking deprived circuit, I think this is going to be an intense qualifying that we've just had. It's going to be an intense race as well.
I think it's going to be a really intense race. Recon, Perpetum, and Carlsbury are top three, only separated by less than 0.2 of a second. So that's what we've got to bear in mind. I think those three possibly are going to be a class above the rest, and possibly, I think, are going to have maybe one of the best battles you will see all season.
Well, let's get your predictions in the chat then. Who do you think will win this Hungarian Grand Prix? And with a prediction in the chat, it means we have to throw it over to Mr. Head for his ahead of the rest prediction.
Ahead of the rest. I like it. This is the new segment that we've got going.
I think so. We could make it.
We can make it, yeah. Right, top three, I'm going to go Medium Pilot for the win. I think, honestly, actually, no, I'm not, because he's in 16th, isn't he?
Well, you never know.
You never know. I'll go Perpetum, actually, for the win. I think he might be more consistent. He might just reclaim some of that good form he had, where he had back-to-back wins earlier on in the season. So Perpetum for the win. I'm going to go Recon for second. And in third, I'm going to have to put him in there, now I've said it, Medium Pilot for third.
There you go then. So, can Mr. Head be proven wrong? Place your bets.
Yes.
Place your bets. Well, here we go then for the Hungarian Grand Prix for the formation lap. And obviously, it's going to be a very, very hectic Grand Prix where pit stops are going to be very, very important. There you can see soft to hards there are the predicted strategy for those inside the top 10. You've also got soft, medium, but at around a track that's got very limited overtaking opportunities, surely the fewer stops, the better.
Yeah, fewer stops you would imagine the better. Possibly one stop, I'm thinking, for certainly the medium and the hard runners out there down the bottom half of the field. Going to be really intriguing. I thought medium would have been on the soft compounded type. Even though he was disqualified from the session, he's on a set of hard compounded tyres and 16th position. So that begs into mind, I think he's going to go around 23, 24 laps into the race and then go for a set of soft compounded tyres. Do rule him out for that podium, as I say, but Recon, Perpetum, Kalsper, top three, they come halfway through the formation lap.
Well, Kalsper, meanwhile, you know, his last four results, Netherlands was 6th place, but ever since then he hasn't been off the podium in his last three races, Monaco, Canada and Austria. Can he make it 4 podiums in a row here tonight? It'll be very interesting to see. The other driver we've got to look out for as well is Bianchi. He starts down in 10th place on the medium tyres, but He got his first ever podium in TTML Division 1 last week in Austria, scoring 3rd place for himself and AlphaTauri. He'll be wanting to try and build on that good momentum here at the Hungaroring. And there is, there's Bianchi's predicted strategy, medium to hard, looking to try and extend that first stint so that he has less time to spend on the hard tyres and therefore try and get a little bit more performance out of them towards the end of this race. Well, we are just making our way onto the grid now. There is Recon, who starts on pole position. He's already got 2 points to his name here at the Hungarian Grand Prix with that pole position to his name. But we just wait for a couple of Williams and a Racing Point to make their way around the final corner. Medium Pilot will be kicking himself for that one. He now starts down in last place. Of course, there could have been an issue with a wheel, with a controller, with anything that made him stop out on track. But we now focus on the start of the Hungarian Grand Prix. We look towards the lights that signal the start of round number 7. It is 5 red lights. We're underway in Budapest. One of the starts like it's a great start there from Josh as we make our way now down towards turn 1. But look at this. Great start as well from the Ferrari. We're going to go 4 wide down towards turn 1. Surely not now. In towards the Ferraris come together through turn 1. I don't believe it. The Ferrari teammates have hit each other in through turn 1. And Kausper is all the way down the grid then, I think that is. And because this is Recon now, we're watching battling hard now. In towards turn 3 we go. He just about takes the lead of this race then as we head up the hill towards turn 4. Everybody else though making their way through. You can see the Ferrari just about off the bottom of the order. It is Kausper who's found his way down the order, and it is Recon who leads the way. Surely would not want to be in that debrief room after this one. We've got a McLaren off through turn 7. And that is, I think that's Coutinho. It is the only McLaren in the race who finds himself off there at turn 7. In fact, it wasn't the only McLaren in the race because Carlsbury is now up to 6th place, you can see here. So he's now benefited from his teammate's demise. But Recon still leads the way then as we head our way down towards turn 13. We'll get this lovely camera angle here as there's another McLaren. It is Carlsbury this time. Both McLarens have had a shocking start here. Carlsbury looks like that he just spun all on his own as he headed through turn 12. Maybe too much speed through the corner. And now he finds himself down the order as the other 2 McLarens are going to battle each other for 14th and 15th. Yaram now comes into the pit lane. Ignore that race control message. DRS is not enabled just yet. We're still on lap 2. Recon leads the way. Prepared to be in 2nd. Carlsberg in 3rd. Hectic start. Well, Carlsberg's not in 3rd. He's all the way down the order. But a hectic start here means that it's all go for the top runners here. Some of them find themselves way down the order and they've got to fight their way through around a tricky circuit to overtake. There is Carlsberg then making a move on a Racing Point. Now, I'm yet to identify who that one is. There is Dobby into the pits then for a change of front wing. Dartbolt now getting a 3-second time penalty already on the 2nd lap of this race.
Just got caught on the curb coming through turn 5. The car ran to the Alfa Romeo now down into 14th position. So unfortunate, Carlsberg made up the ground past Westy, but Westy's just got the move because he had to take avoiding action. Yankee 5th now, Westy 6th, Carlsberg all the way down in 7th. But I've got to be honest, he's had a little bit of luck through the first 2 laps here. And of course, DRS will be enabled next lap around pretty much as we go on to lap 4. So these guys will be running a bit of a DRS train then. So yellow flag to 2, it's Legend again. That is round coming through turn 11 this time.
Absolutely. And can I just say, although the Ferraris came together through turn 2 and Carlsberg found his way all the way down to 14th, he's now in 7th. What a recovery in these first couple of laps. Now DRS will now be online, but it won't be used again until the start-finish straight next time around. It's quite an awkward circuit, that one, because there's 2 DRS zones, and they both have the 1 detection point. So no DRS on this lap just yet. It will be next time around that they'll finally get to use them. Legend is into the pits then. Meanwhile, we focus on Siege, who's kept his head down and got a good start on those medium tyres as well. Finds himself in 10th place. What about Bianchi, though? 5th place for the AlphaTauri driver on the medium tyres. He'll be absolutely loving life there. Westy in 6th as well. Remember, the 2 Racing Points were 12th and 14th, I believe, as they made their way through. So that's a fantastic start for the Racing Points to find themselves now, both cars in the top 10.
Yeah, Westy from 15th on the grid well. So Westy gaining 9 positions rather than 8. But Bianchi's just got to be careful. Made up 5 positions from 10. He's had a little bit of luck involved in that, but Westy and Carlsberg right on the back of him. He's got to be careful. I think, honestly, he could be a steady duck running down the straight here.
What about medium pilot as well? Obviously disqualified in qualifying for parking in a dangerous location. That means he started 16th, so now he's up to 8th place, and albeit on a set of hard tyres. Now that is a heck of a start there from the Williams.
It's a fantastic start, and he's only 5 positions away from my prediction, pretty much coming right for 3rd position there for medium pilot. But Wesley on the back of Bianchi, trying to get the move done down and towards turn 1, not quite. Siege, however, is on the back of Darkbull, coming down the hill, down towards turn 2. But again, he's not going to be close enough either. Not really close for overtakes, but not close enough.
Well, here we see Westy here making his way now up through turn 4 there as he gets a 3-second time penalty, and of course that's multiple warnings, so it's not the first time he's done that. You'll find in Hungary as well that there are going to be a couple of trains here or there where drivers struggle to overtake each other around this tight and technical circuit. It's very narrow here at the Hungaroring. That's what you forget as well. Meanwhile, Siege is right on the back of Darkbolt. Darkbolt on the hard tyres, remember. Siege on the medium tyres as he tries to make his way through turn 11. A little bit of understeer through 11 there from Siege. Doesn't look like there's any front wing damage, but he's just got to be careful there that he doesn't scrub off his tyres too much. He doesn't want them wearing out too early on in this race.
Yeah, he doesn't want to. Obviously, he's on a set of mediums, Duffel ahead on a set of hards. It's going to be really intriguing. Cagino as well, and with the 2 McLarens, down in 13th and 14th now, up to 11th and 12th because of pit stops. Siege now on the back of the Darkbolt. He's looking quite closely. Wesley's got the move done on Bianchi, but here comes Siege down the outside, even down towards turn 1. The racing point trying to go all the way around the outside of the Williams. Williams forces him off track, and Darkbolt hangs on to the position. Cagino now has a run around the outside, and I think Siege pretty much gave up on that one. He could give up on 2 positions because try around the outside, but not close enough.
Yeah, absolutely. He could have given up on it, but at the same time, he wants those positions as well. And whoa, where did that come from? That McLaren just appeared out of nowhere on the TV pod there. Tried to make the move stick. Oh, gets caught on the racing point there, and he's spun. He's had a half spin there. Luckily not to beach himself on the curb, and he spins the car around, but he was just up the inside there. The door was always closing on Colesbury there.
Yeah, Colesbury tried to go around the outside. He went wide coming through turn 5. Then forced him pretty much offline with a little bit of dirt on those tyres as well. Not really the greatest. Obviously, he will be on a set of softs towards the, I would say around lap 9 and lap 10, to be honest, out on track. Medium pilot's on the back of Cal. He's beginning to come back to these guys as well. Wesley beginning to pull away.
Absolutely. Well, you can see here medium pilot is all over the back of Kalsberg. You can see as well Westy trying to break the slipstream between himself and Bianchi. Not that he needs to do it at the moment because he's got 7/10 clear. We've got an Alfa Romeo off. That is through. Legend. Yeah, it is Legend. That's at turn 6 there. No, turn 5, my apologies. And he's hit the wall there. He's almost going to be a lap down, but he'll have to come back to the pit lane and get that front wing changed as well. That's what did they say? A front wing is worth £10,000 to a team, so Alfa Romeo unfortunately going to be 10,000 in the red after that incident there for Legend. But fair play to him. He's staying in this one for now. If he's going to retire, he has to really do it in the pit lane. There's no real safe place to retire from the menu, so we'll have to see if he comes in, replaces the nose and stays in the race, or whether he decides to call it a day. I hope he doesn't call it a day. 16th points is still points at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think the full available, if I'm not mistaken, for 16th, so Legend should just continue on. Even though it'll be left down, it'll be so demoralised, and speaking of fight mentality, he will be pretty much the will to live, I think, out of track. But he is into the pit lane. Let's hope he can continue on for those 4 points, because you never know, 4 points could come in quite crucial, and you never happens. Josh is into the pits from 3rd.
Yeah, very early pit stop there from Josh as he makes his way in towards the pit lane. Looks like hard tyres are the tyres that are going on for the Mercedes, so maybe he's going to try and get those tyres to the end of the race. Who knows? But yeah, that looks like the plan for now, at least, James.
30 laps on a set of 28 laps on a set of hard compound tyres. Not easy to do. I think he's put in way too early, because these tyres are going to be 85% worn at least right at the end of the race. The arm is ahead of Colesbury as well. Colesbury came into the pit lane for medium compound of tyres. He's going to be coming out behind Dobby, I think. And yeah, there's not really much going on apart from that.
Well, medium pilot, by the way, is now up into 7th place. as he now finds his way on the back of Kalsper. Kalsper is on a set of soft tyres, and you can see that Kalsper's really struggling on these soft tyres right now. They do wear away very quickly here at the Hungaroring, and Medium Pilot is all over the back of Kalsper. Will he try and move down towards turn 12? You have to be a madman to try it from that distance back in towards turn 12. Well, you can see now through turn 13, he sees a door open, but of course he realises that he can't quite find that way through. Now up the hill we go towards turn 14. Recon is in the pits then from the lead of this race. Perpetum and Killer Blue stay out. We've got a couple of battles happening down that start-finish straight. You can see there Westy is being closed in by Bianchi. Meanwhile, we're on board with Medium Pilot. He has to go the long way around the outside through turn 1. Can he make it stick on the Ferrari of Kalsper? They're side by side on the run down towards turn 2. Williams still on the inside line, and the Ferrari eventually has to concede the position. Medium Pilot up to 5th place.
Yeah, Medium Pilot's tyre is so much fresher, I think, than Kalsper. He's beginning to overwear those actually on the rears. It's kind of really beginning to feel the tyre there. There's a drop at about 5% per lap around here. So he's probably going to be running on at least 50% worn tyres, given that we also did some laps in qualifying. Medium Pilot beginning to pull away. He's got a little bit of clean air as well. We can now begin to bridge back to Bianchi. But I've got to say, he's staying quite close to Westy. Well, these two are going to be quite potent, I think, to Medium Pilot in behind. He's got the pace and he's got the closing speed. We can already see it happening. 1.3 seconds to go.
Yeah, down towards turn 12. And you can see, he can see Bianchi in the distance. That's what it's going to be, the ever important factor. Perpetum then is the next person into the pits from the lead of the race. And the Mercedes crew are ready with the set of hard tyres. So hard tyres again for a Mercedes car as he now leaves the pit lane. So Killer Blue then stays out, and that means Westy inherits second place. Bianchi up to third place at the moment. Would he love to stay here for a second race in a row? Meanwhile, Darkbolt is passed by Siege down the start-finish straight. In towards turn 1 we go, and you can see they're trying to fight back but can't quite do it. Navy, meanwhile, on the medium tyres. Is he going to try and find a way past Darkbolt? He's got to go down the inside in towards turn 2. They make a little bit of contact going through there. Navy, though, gets the move done eventually as they fly through turn 3.
Darkbolt trying to come back at him up the hill towards turns 4 and 5, and he's not going to be close enough to Navy. Recon, by the way, is on the back of that's held up here, and this could be quite nice for Perpetum and Josh, certainly. Recon actually tries to dive it down the inside of the chicane through turn 6 and 7. Not going to be close enough, and Darkbolt is literally just parking the bus out of the track. It's like Sunderland's defence in League 1.
Absolutely, Recon trying to find his way in through now, through those long twists. Sections there, as I've got a case of the hiccups. Never had that. 3 years in the commentary box. That's never happened before. Here comes Recon then down the inside in towards turn 12, trying to make the move stick on the Williams there. The Williams has to take to the escape road. Darkbolt still down the inside there. He catches the rear tyre of the Ferrari, and that is him spun around.
I'm going to be honest, I think Recon might have been a little bit aggressive going in for that move. Darkbolt sends the round, and Darkbolt has gone round again through turn 14. So unfortunate for the Brit, as he now rejoins track right in front of Kalsper. Goodness for the ghosting system there. Medium Pilot, by the way, is through, and Bianchi down towards turn 2, and Darkbolt is having a case of the spins out on track, and he's retired. On the back of Recon as well. 0.2 of a second separating these. I think Kieran has gone to clean rock up as Perpetum. Now is on the back of Recon running up the hill. Not quite close enough. Stick to second, currently the gap. Westy getting close down by Medium Pilot has disposed of Bianchi quite easily as well. Lap 10 out of 35, really going quite good. Westy lead, Medium Pilot second, Bianchi third.
3 years in the commentary box. I've never once got hiccups. They have to come up now, don't they? Right now. I genuinely, that's never been a problem before. There you go. Learn something new every day. Anyway, Medium Pilot is on the back of Westy here as we now make our way up the hill through in towards turn 14. Westy decides now is the perfect time to pit in. He comes very, very close to the wall there on the left-hand side, but he'll play that off. He'll say, I meant that. I meant to get that close. Recon, meanwhile, on the back of Navy. Recon, of course, has pitted. Navy has not. Recon with the DRS moves to the right-hand side of the track, and that's going to be the Renault a little bit of a sitting duck then down towards turn 1 as Recon leaves his braking very late there. Is there a chance for the Renault to maybe come back at him? Not really. Recon eventually got the better drive through there, but yeah, I think Recon left his braking just a tad too late there, but he managed to recover from it.
Almost looks like he might be trying a little bit too hard, I think, out on track. He just needs to calm down his driving. He wants to try and save those tyres towards the end of the race. Obviously, him being on the set of hard, he's going to be quicker to try and make his way through the field. But Recon, I think, should just bide his time, eat into the advantages. Maybe still on the back. Papetum also being held up. And Papetum, just speak of this way, I think the gap was around 1.5 seconds when I first came into the pit lane. So Recon in fourth currently. The gap between Recon and Papetum is what, 1.2 seconds on track? And Dobby has retired from the session, and that, I think, is time in the pit lane.
Yeah, he's retired in the pit lane, so there shouldn't be any sort of full course yellow to cover that one. Recon, meanwhile, putting the pressure on Siege, and Siege obliges by coming into the pit lane, as now Recon makes his way around the final corner and onwards towards the start-finish straight. That's what he wanted. That's really what he wanted. Clean air. That is exactly what he needs right now as he heads down towards turn 1 for the 12th time in this race. Medium Pilot and Bianchi first and second, but yet to stop in this race. Let's have a look and see what the order's like now. Josh is down in 6th place behind his teammate Papetum. Now remember, Papetum came in later than Josh, and Josh really came in very early on a set of those soft tyres, earlier than maybe we were all expecting. However, he's got to try and make those tyres last to the end of the race. It's doable, but he's got to be careful.
Yeah, he's got to be really careful. He has had a history, I think, back in Germany, if I'm not mistaken, last season in TTL F1. He got a puncture quite late on the race, and his time management mightn't have been up to scratch then. It's got to be up to scratch now if you want to try and make those tyres hold competitive. On the back of Navy, Josh is doing it. He's staying on in there, but there is a good battle beginning to develop further down the field. Pagino, I think, has got past Yarum, but Yarum is still sticking with him. And this is the hard compound tyres really coming into play out on track. And this Sun is looking like it's here to stay as well.
Absolutely. I'm loving that. Navy has a bit of a lock-up through 13 there, and a little bit of a lock-up through 14. You can see he's taking a wider line to try and prioritise his exit speed towards that start-finish straight. He knows he hasn't got DRS, but look at this from Papetum. He'll move to the right-hand side with a little bit of DRS here, down towards turn 1. He's got the inside line, has the Mercedes driver, and takes away that position. Navy won't really be able to fight back on the traction of those medium tyres. He'll certainly try in towards turn 2, but no can do from him. And that is Papetum now up to 4th place. Navy down to 5th. He's now got the other Mercedes of Josh in his wing mirrors to deal with now. Yeah,
Josh is going to really get Navy quite a fight, I think, out on the track. Navy can then back off and back up, essentially, Josh to then come. This is going to be really intriguing. We're beginning to come into this point in the race where it's beginning to die down the action out on track, but the tactics are beginning to come into play. The strategy is what is going through the drivers' minds. Really intriguing. Medium Pilot, by the way, is pulling away tenfold, I think, on Yankee. I last looked, it was about 2, it's now 4.4.
Yeah, absolutely. Navy, meanwhile, getting himself a 3-second time penalty. The latest incursion was awarded at the exit of turn 11, just taking too much curve there. Carlsbury, 5-second penalty for corner cutting. That is a slap bang penalty there. That's no multiple warnings. That is for one corner cut. So that's going to be a very not happy Carlsbury in the car. Meanwhile, here comes Josh then, moving to the right-hand side. Almost a carbon copy move what happened last time out with the other Mercedes. This time, though, Josh gets the move done before the braking zone and is able to get away. And Navy has a little bit of a moment through turn 1.
Yeah, Navy's too careful on those tyres. Obviously, Medium Pilot and Bianchi are pretty similar. Medium Pilot being the exception rather than the rule, hitting on a set of hard compounded tyres. Carlsbury has retired from the race in the lane, and another one that has dropped out the race purely because I think the race has gone according to plan, though. He did stick on in there, and he is sticking on in there, and he's another 3 points as a result.
Well, yeah, Legend is definitely one of those that's just trying to get in there, trying to get some points, and you know, that's going to be another position. As long as he makes it to the checkered flag, that's going to be even more points for the Alfa Romeo. So he's got the right mindset. Okay, this race hasn't gone to plan, but if he can keep his nose clean from now on, if he can just keep on going, if he can get to that checkered flag, he's got some points on the board, and that's what's going to be important for him. Bianchi, meanwhile, into the pit lane now, as you can see there. So he was meant to pit next time around. He's decided to go for a little bit of an undercut, pit one lap earlier, get onto those hard tyres and get going. That's exactly what he's going to do. Let's see where the AlphaTauri rejoins. He's probably going to rejoin somewhere in around maybe 10th, 11th place. Let's see. Bianchi makes his way out of the pit lane. It's actually going to be P9, so better than I thought. Instantly takes to the racing line to make sure that he's there and rejoins now in 9th place. So still really in with a good shot here. He's now on a fresh set of hard tyres going to the end, but you can see all those hard tyres ahead of you. You've only got Navy and Medium Pilot that haven't stopped, so really 7th place is the best he can do without any overtakes. We've already seen how difficult it is to overtake at Hungary, at anywhere on the circuit apart from the first sector, so he is going to have a tough rest of the race.
Yeah, well, Kalsper has just picked up a 3-second time penalty, so might come back actually to bite Kalsper rather than anything else. So there's a yellow flag who's second to Yarum, who picked up a 10-second penalty for exceeding track limits. He was off track, he's made a mistake. It looks like I think he's lost his right side end plate, if I'm not mistaken. He had to corner cut the chicane. It's his left side end plate, actually. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a shame for Yarum. He made a mistake coming through turn 5, I think it was as well. So, not a bad place, well, a really bad place to have an accident out on track. So Yarum now has got to make that car back into pit lane, but at least he's not running the T-tray out on track.
Well, true, but at a track where you need a lot of downforce, it's not great to have a little bit of a front wing end plate off the car. I hope Yarum doesn't retire, because there's every chance he can still try and go for some points here as long as he gets it into that pit lane. He is on the hard tyres, so where will he go from here? Possibly onto a set of mediums. It's the only really tyre he could go onto that has a real chance of getting to the end of this race. He is sticking with it though, I think, so good to see from Yarum. He wants those points. Haas wants those points as well. It's going to be a tough one, but here he is in the pit lane. Haas put on a new front wing, and they'll put on the medium tyres to try and now nurse that car to the end of the race. The only problem is he's got more than half the race to do on those medium tyres. It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, well, he will be picking up, I think, 7 points, if I'm not mistaken, at this stage in the race. So 7 points is better than going home with no points at all. He has came out still on the leading lap as well, as Medium Pilot came across the line to start lap 17. We're nearly at halfway. Medium Pilot leads Rico in second, Potts in third, Josh in fourth. Got to be honest and say, Medium Pilot looks like, I think he's in a better position than anybody else later on in the race. Short term, maybe not, but longer term, definitely so. Top 3, maybe?
Possibly. Very possibly. You never know. You never know. Lap 17 of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Medium Pilot is out in front, but he is yet to stop on those hard tyres that he started on. Recon in second place. Perpetum there is in third. Josh in fourth place. Killer Blue in fifth. Westy in 6th, Kalsper in 7th place, Bianchi in 8th, Cugino 9th, Siege in 10th, Navy in 11th, Yarum 12th, and Legend there is in 13th place. Now, I think the difference between Navy and Legend here is that, well, Navy's actually a lap ahead. We've got yellow flags in Sector 1. That is Yarum again, who's had a little bit of a moment there and is now coming back into the pit lane. I wonder what this is going to be, as he makes his way through very slowly into the pit lane and now down in towards there. And it is a retirement for the Haas driver, so he's decided to call it a day this time around in the pit lane. He must have just pushed down that throttle pedal a little bit too heavily in through 13, and unfortunately that is the Haas driver out of the race.
Yeah, it's a shame. I think he got caught on the inside apex actually coming through turn 13, so it's a shame for Yarum. Obviously into the pit lane, his car will probably come out in the pit lane as well. In fact, he's left the session, so it will be yellow flags. As soon as he comes out through turn 1, that's where the car will get removed. But Medium Pilot, just to speak about this leading gap, it's been 9.9 seconds throughout the last 3 laps or so. Recon is not really gaining on Medium Pilot, and to be honest, Medium Pilot's sticking up a good pace here. This is really leading them on longer term towards a possible at least a top 4 finish, maybe even a top 3 finish, and you never know, James Head's prediction might be coming right.
Well, you might be ahead of the game. Absolutely.
Ah, terrible.
Terrible. I know, I'm full of
Terrible.
it. Medium pilot then, still leading that way then. Just under 10 seconds he leads by, ahead of Recon. And this is the time where he's really got to make those hard tyres work. There are drivers behind him that have tyres half the age of medium pilot's tyres. So he's got to be making sure that he puts in a good lap every single time around, because once he gets onto those medium tyres, which I predict he's going to be on, he won't go for the soft tyres, I don't think. Once he gets onto those mediums, he's going to be quick, but everybody else is going to be on a set of hard tyres trying to get to the end of the race. Medium pilot is going to try and side his way through the field on a set of mediums. And we've already talked about, James, how it's difficult to overtake at Hungary. He's going to have a task on his hands, but I think medium pilot knew that already.
He's going to have a real task, and he's going to have a real task against three of the drivers, arguably, who are going to be fighting out for championship contention throughout the field. That'll be Recon, Perpetum and Josh. Top of the three out of the top 5 drivers, I think, within the league, he's going to be having to side his way through. It's not easy to do, but he has just brought the gap out now to 10 seconds to Recon. He's just gaining minutely, but that minute gain is really going to bring him on. And I mean, actually, watching the gap, Killer Blue was dropping off on Josh. So the older hard compound of tyres seem to be working better than the younger hard compound of tyres. And I think that might be because of the track evolution.
Yeah, maybe. Bit difficult to explain that one, but yeah, more rubber getting down onto the circuit, so maybe the tyres are performing better. Medium pilot then decides enough is enough with these hard tyres, I should say. I'm predicting now medium tyres will get him to the end of the race as he starts lap number 20 in the pit lane. There you'll see Recon pass through and take back the lead of the race. The Williams driver then into the pits on a set of medium tyres. There goes Josh past the Williams there. How about the AlphaTauri? I think he's going to rejoin in 4th place here. So the battle for the podium for him is well and truly on. 3 places between himself and a potential victory. 16 laps to do it. Well, James, can he do it?
He can. He can do it indeed. I mean, the gap to the leader was 9.3 seconds. 9.3 seconds in 15 laps. He's really got to hammer away, to be honest, at these guys. I would say 7, 8 tenths a lap, which is quite minute compared to what he could do. He could be closing in on these guys like 1.2 seconds a lap, possibly. So medium pilot already, you can see the time just whittling its way down. 4.5 seconds already the gap. He's already on a charge, and I mean, to be honest, he might even put my prediction completely out the window, because he could be getting at least a second on this lap.
Well, here is Josh, meanwhile, who is 1.8 seconds behind his teammate. Of course, Mercedes have been a strong and formidable pairing so far this season. There's a little bit of a lock-up from Josh there on the front left as he tries to make his way through 13, trying to make sure he carries as much speed through the corners as possible. Recon starts lap 21 here with 15 laps to go.
Just watching the gap to the leader, and it's 8 seconds between Recon and medium pilot out on track. 1.3 seconds gain on that lap alone, and 14 laps to do it. He's got it easily in the bag, I think. And you watch, this will be a new fastest lap as well.
What do you think?
Oh, it will. 16.9, easily within reach.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Let's have a look at that timing screen as it lights up. He's coming up towards the first sector line. Let's see if that goes purple. It doesn't, but he is 3 tenths quicker, almost 4 tenths quicker than his own personal best. Now climbing through turn 5, onwards now towards the chicane of 6 and 7, braking at that 50-metre board there. You've got enough space, and the brakes work very well here. Now in towards 8 and 9, through 10, and then the long right-hander of turn 11. In theory, medium pilot's going to have a bit more grip through here. Gets onto the curb slightly, but you can see now purple through sector 2. Now 6.7 behind the leader through turn 12. Now we go towards turn 13. Braking harder. You can see that little tyre track there where drivers are locking up or trying to trail brake through there. Medium pilot now making his way through the final corner and onwards towards that start-finish line. You know, Josh is in sight, and there it is, a 1:16.1 then from medium pilot, fastest lap of this race.
6.2 seconds the gap, so he's just closed another 1.8 seconds in that lap. Really just fighting the car there coming out of turn 1, but he's on the road possibly to gaining a P... well, I think he's on the road possibly to get the win out on track, so my P3, it's too late to change my prediction now. I think he'll win this one.
Well, Carlsberg, meanwhile, what a chance it could have been. Obviously, the two Ferraris made contact going through turn 2, I believe it was. It was either that or turn 1, but it was the first lap of this race. Carlsberg has to try and make do with what hand he's been dealt with, is what I was trying to say there. Westy, meanwhile, is just ahead of him for 6th place, as he a little bit of lock up there in towards 6 through 7 there, so just be careful about those lockups. And Medium Pilot now is within DRS range of Josh. This is for 3rd place for Medium Pilot here. Obviously, time is ticking, and he's got to get these moves done. Now that he's within DRS range of Josh, he'll try and maximise and capitalise on turn 14, the amount of grip he has. You see 2 different lines on show there. Josh aiming for a wider entry in order to try and capitalise on the exit speed. Medium Pilot trying to attack the corner and suffer from the understeer in the middle of the corner, but that doesn't seem to affect him too much, because look how close to that gearbox the Medium Pilot got. Is there a chance down towards turn 2? I don't think there is. He's just too far back, but he's now right over the back of this Mercedes here as they now make their way through turn 3.
Yeah, running up the hill, he's doing a good job. I've got to say, Medium Pilot definitely getting the pace in between that car. Josh in 3rd. He's going to have to weather the storm for now. I honestly think Medium Pilot will get him next lap around.
Well, they make their way through the chicane, through 6 and 7. Making our way now through turn 8 and through turn 9. Here we are on lap 23 of this Grand Prix. 13 to go, 12 and a bit if you're picky. And Medium Pilot is trying to find a way past Josh. But of course, the more he battles, the more his tyres are going to wear away. And then obviously there's less chance of trying to catch the race leader. But look at this, he's right over the back of Josh here. Josh is trying to use his ERS at the precisely perfect moments to try and stay ahead of this Williams. But how long until it proves futile? It could be right now. The Williams in the slipstream of Josh M as they make their way down that start-finish straight. Medium Pilot pulls to the right-hand side of the track, has got the inside line in towards turn 1, and easy as you like. Job done, says Medium Pilot. He's on the podium and hungry for more.
He is on the podium, and if he just stays where he is, I honestly think he'll be doing a fantastic job out on track. But you never know. Predictions normally go wrong for me. Medium Pilot running in 3rd then. Petem in 2nd. I was going to say, actually, just before he got the overtake done, Josh was beginning to gain on Petem ahead of him. And he was on 2 lap older tyres than his teammate. So Josh might just stay in there, I think, on these 2 battling. Ricon's beginning to pull away as well. It's 2.9 seconds of the gap. Medium Pilot, though, got the job done where needed. Now Petem up next, and I think it'll be next lap around you'll see an overtake.
Well, there is Medium Pilot then flying through turn 11 and then down towards turn 12, and obviously very aggressive with that curb on the inside, or sorry, the outside I should say, on entry into turn 12. So he's really trying to maximise this track, trying to get every single bit of track to his advantage as he now makes his way through that long right-hander of turn 14. DRS wide open for the Williams, and as you say, James, it probably won't be this lap, but he'll definitely bring himself close enough to have a try in the next lap. Braking hard then for turn 1, which of course generates that energy back into the ERS battery. Now heading down towards turn 2, and Petem stays ahead for now, but that Williams is lurking, it's looming, it's ready.
It is lurking, honestly, right in behind Petem, and I've just got to be really impressed, to be honest, by Medium Pilot's pace. He got disqualified through no fault of his own, to be honest. He was going slow at the end of qualifying. He got disqualified, but just remember, he started 16th on the grid, and he's now 3rd out on track and going on for potential win with 10 laps to go. But as soon as I say that, he just gets caught on the inside curve coming through turn 6, I think that was. So Medium Pilot just losing a little bit of time. That might have thrown away his chance possibly to have a goal this lap.
It might have done, because now down the run towards turn 12 here, he's obviously half a second back at the moment, and that's the similar gap that it was last time around. So he's got to be careful to iron out those mistakes, otherwise he's going to wear out those tyres and he won't have a chance to make a move. Now making our way through turn 12. I tell you what though, he is still pretty close to the back of that Mercedes. Now making your way on towards that start-finish straight. You can see there Perpetum just pulling away from the Williams right now, but now the Williams has the DRS and the ERS to try and have a go. Down in towards turn 1, has to stay behind for now, and we'll be looking at the traction out of turn 1. Now the Williams has some DRS down towards turn 2. He looks down the inside but thinks better of it. He knows he's got the better tyres. It's all about picking his moment, and the moment is down the start-finish straight.
It could be now, actually. He's right on the back of Perpetum, but he's not going to be close enough up the hill in towards turn 5. Perpetum just hanging on for now, 2 seconds. But the more that he weathers the storm, Perpetum, the more that he holds up Medium Parlour, I can honestly begin to see Recon having this one within, well, having one hand, I've got to say, on winning here tonight, because 20 seconds. Medium Parlour is gaining, but Perpetum now beginning to hold them up, and this is the worst possible scenario you can be in as a driver coming through the middle sector in Hungary. You cannot find a way through on the car ahead. What do? You turn to the best knowledge, and that is pace, that is overtake mode, and that is to get the job done down the straight, which I think you will see in just a corner's time.
Yeah, Westy picking up a 3-second time penalty there in 6th place. That could prove pivotal in that midfield battle. Here comes Medium Pilot then. You can see the green bar, the ERS is activated. Perpetum defends to the inside line. And look at this, Medium Pilot has to go the long way round. You see Perpetum there having to defend there. But now Medium Pilot gets the better exit as we head now down towards turn 2. This time Medium Pilot is on the outside here. They touch going through turn 2, but Medium Pilot has the inside line for 3, and he's got the move done there. Perpetum is not giving up on this one, but Medium Pilot now has 2nd place with those medium tyres. He's now going to try and focus on pulling away, otherwise Perpetum will certainly have a go there. 2.9 between himself and Recon. The gap between himself and Recon and Medium Pilot, I should say. I couldn't get my words out there, but we have 8 laps to go. No, 9 laps to go. 8 and a bit if you're picky. Well, Medium Pilot's 2.7 behind Recon. Obviously, it's a one story catching the car ahead. It's a completely different one actually overtaking them. We know Recon is no slouch. We know he's not going to give up this lead of the race that easily. We know he's going to battle to the bitter end of this race. Can he hold off for 8 laps a driver on medium tyres and who's got the better pace? It's going to be so tough for Recon to try and get the win here.
2.4 seconds the gap, as I mean they come across the line. Recon hanging on in there, Medium Pilot 2nd, obviously Perpetum in 3rd. Westy, by the way, is just disconnected from the session, so he's now down into 7th position. Calsburn now up to 6th. Hopefully he can rejoin out on track and pick up those points as a human car, but gap already coming down, 2.1 seconds. Medium Pilot, I'm going to make a very bold prediction. 3 laps time, you'll see him in the lead.
Well, remember, Medium Pilot won the season opener in Australia. He hasn't won a race. He won the race last time around, actually, to get race win number 2. Could he try and get race win number 3 here tonight? The odds are heavily stacked in his favour. Meanwhile, then, Recon, through all the races so far, through 6 races so far, we have had Recon has only finished on the podium once, and that was a 3rd place. If we remember back to the Monaco Grand Prix, the toughest place to get a podium, and he managed to ace it into 3rd place. Now he's got a race win in his hands, but Medium Pilot might be the one to snatch it away from his hands. For Medium Pilot to have a 3rd win this season. He has been in great form, hasn't he, Medium Pilot? He's one of the great drivers out there, obviously leading this championship, and you now see why. From the back of the grid, he's making his way, trying to find now a way past Recon, and he's only got 1.4 seconds to find Perpetum, his championship rival, down into 3rd place. That's why he battled so hard. In the standings, there's only 11 points between them, but now it could be even more if Medium Pilot can find a way past. Westy, meanwhile, obviously, as an AI car, is going to be losing positions. Coutinho now up to 8th place, being handed that position by the AI, but obviously now our focus turns to the lead of this race with 7 to go, 6 and a bit if you're picky.
Yeah, I think Medium Pilot, honestly, as Recon just gets caught on the grass slightly coming out the exit of the chicane through turn 7. Now through 8 and 9, Medium Pilot's not going to be close enough this time around, but I will eat my words if he is close enough this time around, because he's already on the back. And I mean, those 20 lap hard compound of tyres, remember, Recon pitted lap 8, lap 9 from that set of softs onto a set of hards is going to try and make it towards the end of the race. He could be in puncture territory as well as Josh towards the end of the race. But Medium Pilot, 4/10 away. He's been close enough this time. Coming out the final corner, doesn't get the drive, it seems, and Recon just pulls away 5/10 of a second the gap as they come across the line. And Medium Pilot's just going to sit and wait once again.
6 to go then. You can see really how close the top 11 actually are. They're actually not that far away from each other. It is absolutely brilliant to see in this sort of race, as now Medium Pilot has a chance. He has the opportunity to try and get past Recon. 6 laps to do it. Time is on his side right now, but that's only going to be a standard that's correct for about half that stint. At some point, Medium Pilot's tyres will be on the same delta as the hard tyres that Recon is running. Medium Pilot has to find a way past the Ferrari before that happens. Otherwise, he's going to find it very tough to hold on to second place even.
Yeah, and I've just had a check on the top 3 in terms of penalties. Recon and Medium Pilot have got no penalties. They have got 2 or 3 warnings as well. Recon's got 3 warnings, Medium Pilot's got 2. Papetum has got a penalty, so I don't think he's going to be featuring in the top, or certainly in the top 2 fight. But now it's all between these 2 out on track. Recon's going to weather the storm. Medium Pilot, though, so close to the back. And you can honestly see where this one's going to go, I think, down in towards turn 1.
Yeah, snapping at the back of that Ferrari gearbox now as we make our way on towards the start-finish straight with 5 laps to go. Here is Medium Pilot, but actually Recon's holding his own out there, because if you look at the ERS of Medium Pilot, he hasn't got a lot to deploy, so that could be an advantage for Recon. Although Medium Pilot is quicker through the corners and quicker overall, down that start-finish straight, there's no real way that Medium Pilot can find a way past, and that is what Recon will be trying to prioritise now, trying to save up that ERS to use down the start-finish straight, out of some of the corners to make sure he gets a good drive out of each. But look at this. Look how much pressure the Williams is putting on Recon, our race leader at this moment in time, as they make their way towards 6 and 7.
He's almost laughing, I think, at Recon. Pretty much in those wing mirrors, Recon is going to be looking and thinking, oh my goodness me, here he comes, Medium Pilot right on the back of Recon for the lead of the race. I mean, we've got 4.5 laps to go, but you know Recon, he will not like to give up this one without a hard but fair fight. And hopefully we do get to see that, because Recon, of course, a former champion in TTL F1 League 1, Medium Pilot, brand new, of course, to this season. Going to be really intriguing, and this is a battle I think everybody has wanted to see for weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. As Recon and Medium Pilot both taking different lines through turn 1. Here comes Medium Pilot, though. You can see Recon defending to the inside. Medium Pilot has to go the long way round. They do touch going in towards turn 1 there, but now Medium Pilot will try and find a switchback, a cutback, to try and get the drive on the Ferrari. He's around the outside in towards turn 2. He's done this move before. Round the outside, he goes in towards turn 2. He's now got the inside through turn 3. Has he got that move done? And Recon has to back out. He was a little bit off the track going side by side through there, but Medium Pilot takes the lead of the race.
Yeah, Medium Pilot, fair play to him. Recon tried to hang it down there for as long as possible. Great fighting between them both. He just used him as a bit of a braking marker down towards turn 2. But I tell you what, Medium Pilot, when he got ahead in that battle, really delivered. He just forced Recon off track, but it was to say, no, you're not coming through. You're not having this position back. Medium Pilot now through and seemingly on the way to win the race.
Yeah, now he can't afford to make any silly errors, any silly 3-second time penalties to be added on. He needs none of that. He needs to drive a clean race to the checkered flag now. He hasn't got long to do that either, as he now makes his way around the final corner. He's only got around 15 kilometres to go now as he makes his way towards that start-finish line. Meanwhile, further down the order, Navy has got a move on Westy there. Obviously, Westy still disconnected from this session so far. Remember, he has to finish under his own power, so i.e. not as a ghost car, if he wants to finish on collect the points that he earned there in 11th place, because Legend there is in 12th. I can't see Legend getting past the ghost car of Westy in this amount of time. No matter how low the AI difficulty is, it is going to be tough for him to get that 11th place, so it'll be interesting to see if Westy can come back. Otherwise, he's not going to get those points. Recon picks up a 3-second time penalty. A sigh of relief, surely, there for Medium Pilot.
Yeah, costly, I think, for Recon. He had a 3-second time penalty. I was just going to update, actually, on the penalty scenario as it stands. Medium Pilot's got none. Recon has now got that 3-second time penalty, as you say, which I think was only exited through turn 5. Petum has picked up a penalty as well. That was earlier on in the race. Josh has picked up a penalty. Killer Blue has picked up a penalty. He's been a slow burner tonight as well. He's drove a very consistent race. Kalsper has picked up a penalty. Remember, he was down in the back of the field on that one. Bianchi has picked up a penalty. Cugino has got 4 penalties, quite a few for Cugino. Siege has picked up nothing, which is good to see. Navy has picked up 4 penalties as well. And Westy, if he rejoins, has picked up 3 penalties, and Legend has picked up 3 penalties as well.
Well, there is your race leader on the penultimate lap. Medium Pilot leads the way and trying to pick up his 3rd race win of TT Masters League Division 1. Recon in 2nd place. Well, if he hangs on, this will be his 2nd podium of the season. Petum there in 3rd place, the main championship rival to Medium Pilot at the moment. That gap between them in the championship is going to extend by quite some margin at this rate. Josh in 4th place there, with Killer Blue in 5th. Killer Blue actually running in a pretty decent position. Correct me if I'm wrong, James, but if he finishes 5th place, this will be one of his best finishes of the season.
I think this will be the best finish of the season. I'm just right on board with Recon on Recon, all out of shape, coming out through turns 8 and 9, and then into 10 and 11. But yeah, Killer Blue in the half seconds off Josh, but 5th position, again, as I said earlier, he's been a bit of a slow burner, but he's been one of those drivers that if you don't mention him, he's doing a good job.
Yeah, absolutely. But now that we have mentioned him, I'm just sort of scared that we've cursed him and jinxed him there. So we'll have to see how that goes. Killer Blue, he has had a podium this season. So it would so 5th place wouldn't be his best result. His best result has been 3rd place. So that is so still 5th place would still be a very respectable result there as he makes his way across the line. 5th place right now, but if you see the talent he's got ahead of him, it was always going to be tough to break into that top 3 anyway. No matter how talented you are, those top 3, that top 4 even, is so tough to beat. And Medium Pilot is on his final lap of the race then. Well, he was disqualified in qualifying for parking in a dangerous location. Normally as a sign because something's gone wrong with your controller or with your wheel, that you have to stay stationary for that long. I bet he was trying to desperately reconnect anything so that he could hold on to his 3rd place. But actually, it worked out at the end for him. He started last, started on the hard tyre, made those hard tyres work, and when he switched onto the medium tyres, there was no looking back, taking the race lead with 3 laps to go, and around the final corner, it is going to be Medium Pilot in the Williams for his 3rd race win of the season. Medium Pilot wins in Hungary. A very excellent drive from Medium Pilot, puts himself at 3rd in race wins now. Recon in 2nd with Petum in 3rd. Josh comes across the line in 4th place. Killer Blue in the AlphaTauri will come home in 5th place. A little bit of a lonely race for him in that last stint, but a respectable result nonetheless. Kalsper, who made contact with his teammate, would not want to be in that debrief room after this race. He recovers to 6th place. Bianchi in 7th with Cugino in 8th. Siege is going to round the final corner of a quick charging Navy right behind him, but he is going to grab 9th place in this race with Siege in 8th, Cugino 9th, and Navy finishing in 10th place. Westy, as a ghost car, is unfortunately not going to pick up any points for that, but his ghost car does finish in 11th place. And Legend, fair play to him, he might be in 12th place, he might be a lap down, but unlike Yaram, unlike Carlsbury, unlike Dobby, who had to retire in the pit lane, he stayed with it and will get himself 12 points and a very valuable haul of points for himself and for Alfa Romeo. But one man is on top today with a superior strategy and his 3rd race win of the season. Medium Pilot for Williams wins in Hungary.
2nd back-to-back win of the season as well.
Absolutely. As Medium Pilot, no doubt about it, gets driver of the day from starting at the very back of the field. I think he'll have enjoyed that one. That was a very, very great drive and cutting his way through the top 3 to take his place on the top step of the Hungarian Grand Prix podium.
Fantastic win for Medium Pilot. I think everybody has got to just applaud him on that strategy. Last to first challenge that could have not necessarily worked around this track did work. And they might have been thankful for the early carnage that happened during the race as well. Medium Pilot winning. Great results, though, from Recon and Perpetum to finish on the podium as well. I'll let you take through the rest of the running order.
Who said you couldn't overtake at Hungary? Medium Pilot proved us all wrong. From 16th to 1st, takes the race win and the fastest lap of the race. And you know what that means? He gets a good, solid haul of points there. The only thing he missed out on was the pole position. That went to Recon, so he gets an extra 2 points. But it is Medium Pilot who wins the race in the official, unofficial results. It's Recon 2nd, Perpetum in 3rd with Josh in 4th, Killer Blue in 5th with Calsper 6th, Bianchi in 7th with Siege in 8th, Coquinho 9th and Navy in 10th. Westy not finishing under his own power, that didn't look like. He will be in 11th place, but his points might not be awarded. Legend a lap down, finishes in 12th points, but will get his points added to his name. Yaram, Carlsbury, Dobby and Dartbolt all not making it to the checker flag, all not scoring points for themselves or their respective teams. Well, you have to say, there'll be no other focus other than the focus on that Williams driver, on that drive from Medium Pilot.
Yeah, second back-to-back winner of the season as well, following in the footsteps of Perpetum, of course, earlier on in the season. So Medium Pilot now has got a good championship charge going, and that potentially could have been the champion's drive of this season so far.
Absolutely. Well, obviously, we've had a great time here, and obviously, Perpetum needs to do some catching up. He finished 3rd, fair play to him, but that gap between himself and Medium Pilot has ever increased, and he will not want it to get any further up the order there, that is for sure. But we have to say, what a race that was, James. It was intriguing. May not have fitted the action criteria, but you know what? It was such an intriguing race. I think that made up for it.
Yeah, it was a fascinating race. Obviously, with Medium Pilot scything his way through the field, it was fantastic. I'm going to get out the lobby before my connection goes. So I strangely take over the hosting duties there, and I wasn't running the lobby during the race, luckily.
Oh, that's very lucky. But don't forget, Italian Grand Prix will be next week. We head to the Tifosi, and Ferrari will want to be doing well there. That is for sure. But don't forget as well the weekly schedule. Tomorrow night, Formula 2, back here at the Hungaroring. Don't miss out on that one. As well as Thursday and Friday, we have TT Masters League Divisions 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 respectively. All those are starting at 8 PM British summertime. And don't forget, if you fancy yourself in the commentary box for Competitive Racing Club, don't forget there's vacancies on Saturdays and Sundays. Make sure you click the links below. Head to the Twitters there and you'll be able to register your interest if that takes your fancy of jumping into the commentary box. I have to say as well, don't forget to follow us on Twitter. It's at TTML _F1. If you fancy it, myself and James's Twitters are in the bio below. My name, obviously, Kieran, if you didn't already know. But yeah, you can go and follow us down in the description below. Don't forget as well, like and subscribe to the channel. We are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers and we're already breaking the 600 barrier, so help us on the journey and get us to that 1k that we so want. Well, James, we end with Hungary and next week comes Italy, a totally different track.
The Temple of Speed, and Italy I think is going to be a whole different kettle of fish. I think we're going to see quite a close qualifying session, but let's hope, just hope, we see the Tifosi do better than they did on Sunday.
Well, fingers crossed, I'm sure, from everybody around us, including those in the Ferrari garages. But thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you again next week, of course, for the Italian Grand Prix. But don't forget this action, plenty of action coming up for the rest of the week. Until then, thank you very much for watching. I've been Kieran McGinley.
I've been James Head.
Take care of yourselves out there, stay safe, and we'll see you again very soon.